Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andrea Marcinkus. I'm the Senior Director of Research and Insights at Boundless Learning. Boundless Learning may be just 2 years old under this name, but we were formerly Pearson Online Learning Services, and before that, Compass MBNet. So you may have heard of us. We have over 30 years of experience shaping online education, first pioneering the OPM space and now creating learner-centered digital ecosystems with partners worldwide. Today, I'll share how we move from systems to ecosystems and how our Learning Experience Suite, or LXS, helps institutions unify fragmented systems, extend the value of Moodle or other LMS systems, and create learner-centered, future-ready experiences. So let's start with the challenge. When we spoke with our respondents to our 2025 higher education survey, we surveyed 180 higher ed leaders across the UK, Ireland, US, and Canada. One message came through loud and clear. Institutions are drowning in disconnected systems. Most colleges and universities are juggling multiple LMSs, CRMs, SISs, and maybe even some e-commerce tools and analytics platforms. Each of these systems may serve its purpose individually, but together they create a fragmented landscape. Learners struggle to navigate it, administrators lose visibility, and faculty often face very steep learning curves. Higher ed leaders in our survey identified these 5 major pain points that they addressed. So the first is integration and maintenance difficulties. IT teams spend more time keeping systems connected than actually innovating. Low engagement and support gaps. Learners often have to log into multiple systems and don't have clear pathways across all their tools and platforms. Scaling barriers. Growth across divisions or new audiences can get bogged down by siloed systems. Unclear ROI and lack of visibility, where leaders can't get a complete picture of enrollment, engagement, and outcomes. And finally, security and compliance risks. Here, accessibility and data protection are non-negotiables, and too often, those fragmented tools might fall short. And these aren't minor irritations. They're systematic challenges that limit growth, create inefficiency, and really frustrate learners. Importantly, these findings align with what we see across the sector globally. Institutions know that they need to move beyond systems to ecosystems if they want to thrive in a more digital, learner-driven future. Now, it's not just our own research that highlights the importance of ecosystems. There's a growing body of work from across higher ed and educational research. For example, Singh and Kumar found that e-learning ecosystems foster collaboration, creativity, and critical skills at scale. They argue that when institutions think beyond standalone systems, learners and educators both benefit from richer, more connected experiences. Next, Wynn and Tumasuk showed that digital ecosystems unify content and tools across institutions, which reduces the fragmentation that we talked about earlier. When systems are connected, learners spend less time navigating platforms and more time actually learning. At the Aurora Institute, Pittman's work emphasized how learner-centered, community-based ecosystems promote lifelong growth and social inclusion. The real value of ecosystems is that they don't stop at the classroom door. They link learners to communities, to employers, and opportunities across their lives. And in the US, Osman for the STEM Learning Ecosystem Initiative has demonstrated how ecosystem models empower educators themselves. When schools, community organizations, and universities start to collaborate in an ecosystem model, it builds resilience and capacity to innovate. The evidence is clear here and consistent. Ecosystems drive equality, engagement, and scale. And these are exactly the things that institutional leaders told us that they were seeking. So Boundless Learning's LXS is our response. The Learning Experience Suite is a cloud-based, modular, and purpose-built ecosystem that empowers institutions and other learning providers to deliver personalized, engaging, and scalable learning experiences. Built to support both current systems and future growth, the LXS integrates robust course discovery, learner profiles, course or program recommendations, and learning pathways, all housed within a customizable, user-centered platform. It helps organizations modernize their learning infrastructure, streamline operations, monetize content, and foster long-term learner loyalty across all audience segments. Imagine one cohesive platform where course discovery, learner profiles, recommendations are all housed into one section. Administrators get streamlined operations and dashboards. Learners get personalized journeys. Institutions get the ability to monetize, to grow, and provide some really clear pathways to show ROI. And the value is backed by some research. Once again, in our higher ed survey, 95% of leaders said that a solution like this aligns with their strategic priorities, and most might consider an adoption within 1 to 2 years. But an ecosystem really needs to be trusted also to succeed. And that's why the LXS is mobile first, accessibility first, and built with security compliance at its core. It's hosted on a secure infrastructure, and we even offer managed LMS options as an add-on service to reduce the IT burden for institutions. Think of the LXS as the connective tissue that transforms disconnected systems into a unified, branded environment where enrollment, learning, support, and career outcomes all flow seamlessly. And importantly, it integrates what you already have, Moodle included, so you don't have to start from scratch. Now let's take a look at some of the problems the LXS specifically solves in detail. One of the pain points that leaders identified in our survey was that learners often feel lost when navigating program offerings. Multiple websites, disconnected course catalogs, and inconsistent information make it hard to find the right program. The LXS solves this with a robust discovery layer. Learners can use advanced search tools, apply filters, and compare programs side by side. They can favorite programs and return to them later, which mirrors the type of digital experience that many are used to in e-commerce platforms. And this isn't just about convenience. Research shows that learners who can clearly see all of their options and pathways laid out before them and compare make more competent decisions and confident decisions. And that confidence correlates with enrollment and persistence. Our higher ed survey echoed this. Institutions told us that program discoverability and navigation are major barriers that they would like addressed. So here, the LXS directly improves accessibility of information, simplifies a complicated decision-making process, and builds early engagement before a learner ever enrolls. Now, once a learner has chosen a program or a course, the next challenge is staying engaged and progressing. And in many systems today, learners bounce between LMSs, different portals, sometimes even paper-based processes, and they can lose momentum. The LXS brings this together in a personalized learner dashboard. Every learner has a profile showing progress, saved programs, and milestones. The dashboard integrates calendars, assignments, and campus or community events so that learners can see what's next. Clear calls to action, like enroll now or continue learning, help guide them forward. This is critical because engagement and retention consistently shows up as concerns. And our survey showed that, as well as other research across higher ed. When institutions lack cohesive learner support, outcomes drop. By contrast, ecosystems that keep learners connected to their goals improve persistence. And the LXS places the learner at the center of this journey, giving them ownership of their path while reducing the friction that can lead to dropout. Now let's talk from the institutional perspective. Leaders told us they're under increasing pressure to demonstrate ROI to boards, creditors, funders, but with fragmented systems, visibility can be a real nightmare. The LXS provides multi-level administrative access and reporting dashboards that unify data across systems. This directly addresses a pain point that we discovered in our survey as well, which is the lack of actionable analytics and visibility. Nearly 3/4 of responded leaders said that they struggle to get the data they need in a timely way. With the LXS, institutions can see what's working, where learners are getting stuck, and how to adapt quickly. And this isn't just an internal benefit. Research shows that when institutions use analytics well, they can better align learning with workforce needs, which in turn strengthens their market position. So while the learner gets clarity and guidance, the institution gains the insights and evidence it needs to thrive. Taken together, these core features, interoperable systems, discovery, learner experience, and institutional visibility, show how the LXS directly solves some of those key pain points from our survey: navigation, engagement, and ROI. But ecosystems are also about building connections and community, which is where we'll go next. So engagement isn't just about navigation and coursework. It's about connection and support. And we know that learning communities significantly improve student retention, academic performance, and a sense of belonging. And with that in mind, the LXS supports engagement through things like community features, like blogs, news, peer stories, which cultivate belonging. Guided exploration with clear calls to action and pathways to help learners progress, and support tools, including live platform support, or even AI assistant that we are piloting, ensure learners get help when they need it across different time zones. By weaving these features into the learner experience, the LXS doesn't just create an ecosystem, it continues to build that supportive learning community. And the final layer I want to highlight is how the LXS supports growth and lifelong learning. Institutions aren't just focused on enrollment today. They're thinking about learners' journey over the years and possibly even decades. First, our Learning Paths tool allows programs and credentials to be combined into stackable, personalized journeys. A learner might start with a short course, move to a certificate, and eventually complete a degree, all within one cohesive ecosystem. And this is what aligns with Singh and Kumar, what they identified in an earlier when I was speaking, that ecosystems foster that creativity and critical skills by enabling progression, not just one-off experiences. Next, we also have an eligibility widget and application manager, which really helps to lower barriers to entry. Learners can really quickly check whether they qualify for a program and can submit applications all within the same environment. This reduces friction and expands reach, which is especially important for non-traditional learners or those learners who may be returning to education after years away. Finally, we are building a Career Connect tool, which ties education directly into workforce outcomes. Learners can see how their skills align with job opportunities, and institutions can showcase some real-world ROI of their programs. And our higher ed survey found that 73% of leaders see student support and career pathways as critical priorities. And this feature makes that priority really tangible. So the LXS helps institutions not only engage learners today, but also position themselves as partners for lifelong learning. It's about scaling impact, improving that ROI, and ensuring learners see education as a bridge to opportunity. And these features are not just theoretical. We've already seen how they can play out in practice. Let me share an example from the Sassoon Academy, which might be a little unconventional, but I'll show you why. As that is a great case of what happens when a fragmented system becomes a connected ecosystem. Before working with us, you might know Sassoon from the hair world, hair and beauty, but Sassoon Academy had some really excellent content, but it was scattered across multiple systems. So there was online on-demand courses, in-person programs at salons around the world, physical student kits and tools, and a subscription learning system, all under different platforms. And learners had trouble finding the right courses, finding clear paths for progression through their education, and their retention was very low. Their digital infrastructure was siloed, creating a lot of frustration for both learners and administrators. So together, we implemented the LXS as a wraparound ecosystem. We created a branded mobile-first hub that reflects the prestige of the Sassoon brand. We introduced subscription-based learning pathways, giving stylists the ability to follow structured progressions and return for more for additional education with an easy-to-understand e-commerce payment plan. We connected online courses to in-person training opportunities and increased sales by also placing course materials and physical products into a combined and cohesive catalog of offerings. And we added community and loyalty features like blogs, peer stories, news updates, so learners felt connected to a wider professional network. And while they didn't need to switch their LMS, they did decide to upgrade to Moodle because it brought some new learning features. Boundless Learning is also supporting this by hosting and managing their Moodle instance. And finally, learners now have their own dashboard that makes it easy for them to access current courses, past courses, view learning paths and progression, and their saved favorites, and switch up their payment options. So the impact has been transformative. In Sassoon's CEO's own words, our platform has become less fragmented and pivoted towards a significantly enhanced customer service experience that transformed our business model and the way that we operate. So this case really illustrates the shift that we've been talking about this afternoon, from systems to ecosystems. Sassoon didn't throw away their systems. They wrapped them in an ecosystem that unified the learner journey, extended brand value, and built loyalty at scale. And while Sassoon operates in the career training space, the same principles apply across higher education, corporate education, client education, associations, and workforce development. So ecosystems driving growth, community, and engagement. And as we wrap up, let's go through the 3 core messages I'd like to leave with you. First, the LXS enhances existing systems, like your LMS, your CRM, etc. It doesn't replace it. Our survey confirmed that institutions don't want to start over, right? They want solutions that integrate and with what they already use. And the LXS is designed as that flexible wraparound layer. Second, the LXS addresses the very pain points institutions told us matter the most to them: integration and maintenance, learner engagement, scalability, ROI, and compliance. And these aren't features for feature's sake. They're intentional responses to real needs that we're all experiencing at our institutions. And third, the LXS supports growth, engagement, and lifelong learning. It's not just about a single course or a single platform. It's about sustaining relationships with learners over the years. From program discovery to career outcomes, the LXS enables institutions to thrive in a learner-centered future. The future of learning isn't about more systems, it's about building connected ecosystems. And the LXS is how Boundless Learning makes that future possible. There's references there in case anybody wants to read them. I'm still the academic. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. What challenges are you seeing in moving from systems to ecosystems? Where do you see the biggest opportunities for impact in your own contexts? Or what other questions might you have? I meant to mention before the QR code that was on an earlier slide I put here, so if you want some more information about our LXS or other services that Boundless Learning has to offer, you can just scan that.
All right, let's hear it for Andrea and the Boundless Learning team.